If you really study it, like that college course, and you major in it and really devote a short amount of time to mastering it, then you can go into lifestyle mode. And that's where I am. And I am so happy. I passed the point of being afraid that I couldn't maintain it. So many of us, we've lost weight before and somehow we always gained it back. And so there's that fear, what now? The other amazing part of this is that there's no what now. You just keep going. Just keep eating your food. What would be different about your life if you lost 10 pounds or whatever your goal is? Get clear on the benefits of that, whether it's how you look or how you feel, and you will feel different. What would your life look like if you didn't give up on yourself for this journey that you want to accomplish? Because there's a reason that you want to make a change, or else you wouldn't be looking at this. How would my life be different if I really, really went for it?
Welcome to Stronger You Radio with Mike Dola. Join Mike and friends as they discuss issues to keep you healthy, fit, and on track to create a stronger you. Let's listen in now.
All right, welcome back, Stronger You family. Today we have a special guest, and it's someone I refer to as the Stronger You referral goddess, Morgan Crane. She has about 90 referrals with us. And we also have Tanner with us, and we're going to do the Member Spotlight interview, a new series of podcasts that I think you guys are going to really, really enjoy. So Morgan, can you just tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. And thanks so much for having me. I'm excited to be here. I am 38. I have 3 kids. I work from home. I live in the Chicago suburbs. And since I signed up with Stronger You it was end of February of 2018, I have lost approximately 48 pounds. I'm not going for 50. If it happens organically, then, that'll be a milestone, but I'm not looking to lose more. But my life is very different now, in so many amazingly positive ways, since I decided to focus, on getting healthy and, really exploring what my body can do and how I can take care of it better. So it's been a fabulous journey that has resulted in hundreds of new friends and experiences and just a lot of positivity to share with the world. So I'm a fan.
Clearly, you're a fan to the tune of converting 90 people into SU disciples. It's an incredible thing because you live the code, and it's so apparent from anybody who interacts with you whatsoever.
Yeah, a lot of people have asked if I work for you guys, and I don't. My party line answer is I have not found a way to monetize my contributions to Stronger You besides through referrals. And it is a generous referral program, and I'm thankful for that. But I always say no. I don't want to be a coach. I don't, aspire to be a nutrition coach specifically. But kind of how I operate in my life is if I find something amazing, I tell everybody I know. I shout it from the rooftops. And I've always been like that. The best restaurant, a new pair of jeans on Amazon. And then I work online. I work on social media. So I have found a way to make a living, recommending things and sharing things that I love, but I will share it whether or not it's my job. So people, they're like, you're so excited about it. I was watching a video I did for a friend, and everyone's like, you're so fired up? It's so fun to watch. I'm like, I am fired up because if I find something that has brought so much to my life, and it's something that really applies to so many people in my life who are struggling with their weight or struggling with their health, or, the place that I was in before I got started, I guess that's a good jumping off point. I have 3 kids, and after my 3rd child, I was the heaviest I ever was. I was the heaviest when I got pregnant with my 3rd. And I think a lot of women can relate to that. Just over the years of being pregnant, having babies, you put yourself on the back burner because you have this little person who needs 100% of your attention. And so you let yourself slide. A lot of women do. And I don't blame anyone for doing that either. And I've said so many times, Stronger You was born around the same time that my son was born. And I was like, if I'd only known that I actually could lose weight while I was nursing, that I actually could lose weight without starving myself, that I actually could lose weight without working out, to exhaustion. Those were the big reasons that I didn't even try, because I thought that was the only way, because that was the only way I'd ever done it before. So I just I just didn't do anything. And I focused on my kids, and I focused on building my business. Had a great life, and I was very happy with everything. And I also was at a point where I really have always had high self-confidence and have loved myself 100% at every weight and size I've ever been. But physically I was declining. So like my hips would ache every single day. My knees would ache. I couldn't carry my son around the house, without paying for it later. And I was like, I'm too young for my body to feel this bad. And I was having all sorts of issues, which I've learned later was caused by food, uncomfortable all the time. And it wasn't that I didn't like how I looked. Not that I was like, super excited about how I looked, but it wasn't to look a different way. It was because I didn't feel good. So before Stronger You, the last time I had lost any weight at all was the summer before. So I started in February 2018, and the summer before, so summer of 2017, I was a speaker at my company's convention, and I had like 3 months notice. And I was like, okay, I have to lose some weight before I'm up on stage. That's how I had always kind of operated. There was always like a reason to lose weight, like a trip or a, convention or, a wedding or something. I'm like, okay, I have a deadline. I want to lose as much as possible in a short amount of time. And I know how to do it, which was limiting food and working out as hard as I could. And that was the only way I knew how to do it. And it worked. Yeah. But then, so I dropped like 15 pounds or something in 3 months. I was really excited about it. I was buying smaller clothes and feeling really good. But guess what happened the minute I got back from that convention? I didn't do anything that I had been doing before. I didn't, because I was like, why would I starve myself when I don't have to? There's no more, trips coming up or whatever. So I stopped. And then by New Year's, so in the 4 months after that, I had gained 20 pounds. So I lost 15 and then I gained 20 back in 4 months. So it was just like, I can't do this anymore. So then I had to wade through, there's this video of, just a funny video of interviewing different diets. So like the diet was a person, they would come and they would tell you all like their features and benefits, and the person was trying to choose which one to do. So it was like, am I going to do a shake diet? Am I going to do a low carb or whatever? And I felt like I was doing that. I was asking everybody I knew, well, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are the pros and cons? And so many of my network, they were doing something that involved, a shake or a supplement or food replacement or, low carb, dropping carbs altogether. And I realized when I was going through all that information that I was not interested in something that was relying on somebody else or relying on a shipment of shakes to arrive to keep me on track or relying on eliminating entire food groups. I just wasn't interested in that at all. And so my mantra ended up being, I need to un-F my relationship with food. I realized that was the issue. But that was what I realized. And so I talked to a friend who was doing a macro program. And I had heard about macros, but I was like, you have to weigh your food. Like, are you anorexic? Right. So I had a very negative association with weighing food. I associated it with limiting food, not just making sure that you're being accurate. So that was a big mindset shift when I started, but I was very resistant to weighing food, and tracking food just seemed like so much work, finger quotes, so much work. And so I had friends who were doing it and loving it. And I was like, I can't do that. It's too much work. And I said, I said things that I now realize were just cop-outs. So I said, if someone just tells me what to eat, then I'll just eat it, and that'll be how I lose weight. That doesn't work. Or if someone just cooked the meals and put them on my doorstep and I can just eat it and I don't have to think about it. And then in that process, I just realized I have to do it. It's not.
I think that's the hard part for people. It's if those things were what you needed, you would already be doing them and we wouldn't even have to exist.
Yes.
And what we're trying to do for people is really teach them. And that's like the hard part, because a lot of people sign up and they're like, but where's my meal plan? My coach didn't tell me exactly what to eat. And it's because that's not what we are. That's not what we will ever be. And I think it's, I equate it to kind of like a college professor, not kindergarten. You're going to come to college and you're going to get a lesson and you're going to be better off after this.
Yes.
And you're not going to understand why we do it like this at first, but after that, you're going to be like, wow, okay, this is it. And I'm pretty happy.
Yeah. So I had my friend calculate some macros for me. And I started tracking, like not weighing, but so guessing, but at least tracking. And that's what I always say that. I'm like, well, if you're not weighing your food, you're just guessing. I had her calculate a set of macros for me, and she added me to a Facebook group. And it was very different from Stronger You. The person leading the group was kind of like the guru, and like you didn't ever go against what this person said. They were focused on like 000s every day, and there wasn't a big community feel to it, but I learned a lot though. So that was like a good jumping off point. And so for about 6 weeks, I used her macros, and then I asked a different friend to calculate because I wasn't losing fast. And then I asked a different friend, and I just jumped all over the place. But I learned a lot in those 6 weeks. And at that time, a friend of mine had signed up for Stronger You at the same time that I had started tracking on my own. And at the end of 6 weeks, she had consistently been losing weight, and I had not. I lost a little, and then I gained it back, and then And I was very resistant to the idea of a coach. I like being independent. I like being good at things and teaching others. I would rather be the coach, I guess. So, and that's my business. I coach people in their businesses, and I'm used to being in charge. I don't like other people telling me what to do. And so that was why I was resistant, but I was like, well, the results speak for themselves. So I signed up at the end of February.
This is the story that we hear every single time.
Yeah.
It's like, we understand it. And we were talking about it earlier on a call, how like we have seen everything at this point. And it usually is a story similar to this.
So like if you had, tracked macros before and had some experience in that, and obviously you had some resistance to a coach and whatnot, but like that obviously all changed. You came around.
Yeah.
Like, what was it for you that you feel like allowed you to kind of make that transition and come around the corner here?
I was very much ready. I knew what I was getting into. And actually, when people, probably not all 90 people that I've helped sign up, but when people come to me and ask about it, I tell almost everyone, learn about it first. Learn what macros are. Think about, is it something that you're interested in doing? Track your food for a week. Even if you're not wearing it, just get an idea of what you're consuming. See if, this is something that even appeals to you. Don't just, because I have, out of those people I've referred, I have several who signed up, maybe started and then either stopped or didn't do anything. And they have said to me, I really thought that investing in the program was going to make me want to do it. I'm like, no, it never works like that with anything. Right. So I felt like I was prepared. I knew what I was getting into. I also came in with the mindset that I was going to be successful no matter what. And part of that was also a goal. I signed up at the end of February, exactly 8 weeks before I was going to Hawaii with my company on a really important kind of exclusive trip. And I was like, I refuse to set foot in Hawaii in the shape that I'm in right now. When I know that in 8 weeks I can make changes. So that was my mindset when I signed up.
You were confident.
Yeah. I was, and my first coach, I kind of thought that we were going to be like best friends and we were going to like share, I don't know what I thought we were going to share, but
deep dark secrets.
I know, like we were going to like text each other cute cat photos and stuff. I don't know. But because I had friends who were already in the program and they, loved their coach and stuff. And so, but he was very, very businesslike. He was kind of like, he wasn't resistant to being friends, but wouldn't have been friends. Yeah, we would not have been friends. Let's just say that.
Yep.
So, but I was like, you know what? I don't need a friend. I need a coach. So I went to the Stronger You Facebook group and started making friends because that's what I do. I go, and that was another reason Stronger You is such a good fit for me, is the community aspect. Because when it was just me coaching me sitting on my couch at 11 o'clock, wanting to eat more, that was not a good fit. But when I started making friends who were, either a little bit ahead of me or just getting started at the same time, there was kind of accountability there too. And we shared ideas and we shared, like, I discovered this new shake or, so I started making friends with the members. I started making friends with the coaches. And what I really connected to, which made it very clear right away that this was going to be a home for me, is that nobody ever makes you feel dumb for being new in our group.
Yep.
And that community culture is so important. And the coaches treat us like peers. They don't treat you like, well, you're the client, I'm the coach, everyone's sharing information. If you learn something, you share it. every single day there's someone saying, I have 100 grams of protein left and it's 11 o'clock. What should I do? But
Plan better. No.
It does come up in but like, nobody's going to be like, God, go read the file section or go read the manual. Like,
no, everyone's
actually
super
try to
cool.
help,
Yeah.
And that's stay that way. Sometimes the groups get so big, you lose that, intimate feeling. And when I signed up,
think
like 4,000 people, and no,
right. We just kind of set the tone. I think everybody kind of sees how everybody is treated, and we really are a team. I don't think of it like Stronger You corporate, Stronger You members. I think of it like Stronger You. This is what we are.
I think a big part of that too, actually, like still even goes into the fact that like on the corporate side of us, like we have all either have been on the client side of it, are still on the client side of it, or, for like a few of us are still coaching clients. Like, I think you touched on something so relevant there. It's never a stock answer of like, okay, well, go read the guide, right? Like, if we're going to tell you to go read the guide, we want to tell you to read the guide because there's like, maybe there's some like just generally helpful reminders that we could all do to find, right? But if, you're asking a question to 20,000 friends who are on a similar journey to you, getting back a real answer that's like, hey, this is actually like what worked for me in this situation. Like that makes all the difference in the world, right? It makes you feel like you're not walking through this alone.
Yes.
And ultimately that's what we want.
Yeah. And hearing from clients who are going through it, other people on the program who are going through it at the same time. And also you're going to get a variety of answers, which I like. And there's no like, if Mike says something, then everybody has to agree with it. I love actually firing back again, not against coaches, but like I love engaging in conversation. Like, these are really good points, but like FYI, this is how I did it. And there's other ways, there's other avenues. And I've loved just learning from different people's experiences. And, like when, like say drinking comes up, for example, and there'll be a lot of us who come in and be like, look, if you cut the alcohol, you're going to lose faster. Just, if you're willing to do that for 12 weeks, like that's how you're going to get the best results. And then someone else will chime in and be like, you know what? I wasn't willing to do that. This is what I did. And like, but I didn't, crash and burn because I learned how to budget and I learned that I didn't need, 4 glasses of wine. I could, I learned to enjoy 1 glass of wine, whatever it was. I love that there is enough of a variety of experience. And I love that it's a very positive place in general. Some people try to be negative, let's say that, but nobody will stand for it. It's like, no, this is not the right place for that.
No, it's not. We're like, no, this is just trust us, chill out, hit your macros, plan your day, get to bed, drink your water, move around, and this will change your life.
Yeah. So it was simple. And so back to when I signed up, so I had been, doing a much looser version. There were certain things that I just could not wrap my head around. So I was not working out at all. And I had said, like the kind of the deal I made with myself, I was like, I need to fix the food first. So, and I say that to everybody too. I'm like, if you have a choice to join a gym or fix your food, fix the food. The gym can come later, but if you start at the gym and you're not changing how you eat at all, it's just, you're going to quit the gym too. So, and that's what I would have done. So, Or if I started both at the same time, it would have been too overwhelming and I would have quit the food and kept the gym. So I decided to start with food first, and I could not wrap my head around how people were getting results without working out. So even like one of my very early posts in the group, I was like, I need to hear from people who did not work out. I put like a call to action. And I also was one of the thousands of, does everyone here do CrossFit posts? Because I joined during the CrossFit Games or something.
Yeah. So everybody was talking about it.
And I was like, what did I just get myself into?
Yeah.
I do not cross or fit. I was not any of those things.
We love the CrossFitters, but just like Stronger You people, they talk about CrossFit a lot.
Yes.
I get it.
I get it too. But I was like, what is happening? And someone pointed out like, this will die down after the next 2 weeks or whatever. But I just didn't get it. And I tried asking my coach about it. And I was like, I get, really into my head sometimes. And I really wanted to like really talk about it. And he's like, is this the most important thing for you to be focusing on right now? And I was like, no, it's not. I was like, well, shut that one down. But he was right. And so it was good to have someone who was not exactly like me, because I could just, chatter on about everything. And he was like, here's the deal, like hit your numbers, plan your day ahead. That was the other big change. I was like, you seriously want me to put everything I'm going to eat in my tracker before I eat it? And he was like, yeah, like I was the dumbest person alive. He was like, yeah, that's what you do. And I was like, and I mean, he didn't say it to be mean. Because he was right, but he was
just straight up. Yeah. Planning is great.
Yeah. He's like, plan your day, eat the food you planned. And like, come back to me, when you have a real question, or like, it
sounds silly, right?
Yeah.
It sounds silly. Like, wait, all I have to do is this. And yeah, the hard part is actually doing it. And that's what we try to figure out.
So I did, but it took me, I started planning my day ahead pretty early on. I did not believe that 10,000 steps a day would make a difference until maybe 6 months in, when I actually tried it. And I didn't believe that hitting my numbers 7 days a week versus 5 days a week was going to make that big of a difference until May. Because last May, there was a challenge, hit your numbers 30 out of 31 days. Do you remember that?
Yep. I remember that.
And I was like, oh, I'll try it. I like winning things or, accomplishing things. So I did it. And that was, my best month yet. So I was like, oh, so it really does make a difference. But a lot of people come in with a lot more resistance than I had. So even though it took me a while to come around to some things, as soon as I found that something worked, I kept doing it. And I took care to not overcomplicate things for myself. So I am thankfully the type of person who can eat the same food over and over and not get bored. Although there are certain meals that I just don't eat anymore because I just burned out on them. So I could prep food. I prepped on Sunday, I prepped on Thursday, and I had food for, 3 or 4 days. And if I always had food prepped, not always stayed on track, but, was more likely to stay on track. I was like, okay, this is simple. And so many people, even now, they're like, well, what do you eat? Tell me what a day of your food looks like. And I'm like, you don't want to eat my food. And they're like, why? Is it gross? I'm like, no, it's the stuff that I like to eat. Yeah. I get to choose my favorite foods. And even my husband said, and he's like, I could never do Stronger You because I could not eat that much chicken. And I was like, no. I'm like, I eat all the chicken because I like chicken. You don't have to eat chicken. You get your protein however you want. But he was like, he's watching what I eat. He's like, I don't want to eat that, so I'm not going to. Yeah,
everyone kind of eats different stuff. It's funny though when people ask about dieting, they're like, "What do you eat?" No one really says how much do you eat, and that's really where the magic happens.
Yeah, and that's what meal plans don't work. I'm like, if I tell you, because I bought a meal plan with their macros built in, like before I started Stronger You, I did not make a single meal of that, of the plan, because I was like, well, what if I don't want a turkey wrap on Tuesday at lunch? Then I have to buy like all the ingredients. I was like, no, I want to just eat what I want to eat. So that was
my thing about meal plans is you still need to buy the food, cook the food, measure the food, clean up. So what does it really do? All it does is remove the option to choose.
Yeah, it just removes one decision. Ultimately, removing that one decision winds up hindering you in the long run because it doesn't allow you to start figuring out how to make your own choices. And
yes. What happens when you never want to see another turkey wrap in your life because you've eaten them every week,
What happens when you forget lunch when you're running out the house,
Yeah. How do you make
need to figure out how to replace that?
Well, that was the other thing. So I said, on my mission to un-F my relationship with food, I set my standard was I have to be able to walk into any restaurant, any grocery store, any party, and know how to choose my food. So that was my standard. And I couldn't be reliant on something else, someone else telling me what to eat, someone else choosing my food, a shake, a bar, whatever it is. I needed to learn how to make those decisions, and I have, and it's been the most freeing experience of my adult life, I think, because finished working with my coach and stop. We still text all the time, different coach, but 2 months ago, I think. So I've been on my own, finger quotes.
So how's that going now? You think you're un-effed with food?
Yeah, I do. I mean, I still, there's the occasional poor choice, but
oh yeah, we do it.
That's life. Yeah, I feel like, so another thing about the group, and this is like in my promo ads for Stronger You, and I talk about it. I say, once you learn how to do it and you un-F that relationship with food and you learn what things are made out of, how to build a meal, how to build a plate, where you can get protein, how you can lower fat when you're cooking or, balance things how you need it. you can't unlearn that. I can't look at a Krispy Kreme donut and not know the fat content and not, like that sort of thing. And so
it's 11 grams, right?
It's,
11 grams.
It was, I thought of it more as like 1/3 of my day at some point. So like when you're making those choices, you know it. So I loved hearing from Coach Ariana. Actually, she's like, I don't weigh my food anymore, and I was like,
yeah,
what?
Yeah,
like that's an option, And then I realized, I'm like, well, yeah, if you really truly understand how the food is working and what the food is made out of, if you really get it, if you really study it, like that college course, and you major in it, and really devote a short amount of time to mastering it, then you can go into lifestyle mode. And and that's where I am, and I am so happy. And I'm so happy because I haven't gained any weight back. I've lost more. Again, I'm not trying to lose anymore, but I'm very active now. So that, that kind of naturally comes. And I'm actually like, okay, should I try to gain some more weight? Am I trying to build muscle now? Like, it's a different world. And so I went from do you have to work out to now I lift weights 4 times a week. And
that's so cool.
How awesome is that?
I never, ever, if you had told me that, I'd be like, shut up. There's no way. I'm like, I can't even lift my 28-pound son without being in pain.
Now you're curling him. No.
Yeah, no. I deadlifted 140 yesterday, and
wow. Hey, look at you.
Yeah, I'm like, that's my body weight. I was like, this was me. Like, this is me. I'm picking me up, and it's incredible. And that
what an empowering thing.
Yeah, that wouldn't have happened without the influence of the group too. So as much as I like to influence people, I'm also very susceptible to influence. So that's how I got my Peloton bike, because people in the group were like, yeah, get a Peloton. I was like, sure. And then I saw like Patty doing CrossFit, Denise doing CrossFit. And I still didn't want to do CrossFit. I don't know what my hang up is with CrossFit, but I found a local gym last June. So it'll be almost a year now. And I went in, and it's very small, and he writes the workouts on the board. It was like HIIT workouts.
Yep.
And I just could show up, and all I had to do was count to 10, just do my reps. I didn't have to think about anything. And so that was my first time like really working out. And then by November, when you came to Chicago, then I was like, I've lost all the weight I want to lose. Like, I don't know what to do next. And so I started talking to my trainer. I was like, what's next? I'm like, I'm bored, so I need to have a new challenge. And so I started doing a book workout, 4 days a week, four different lifts. And I like it because, I like it for a lot of reasons, but I can track the progress, the weight keeps getting heavier, and I feel like I'm doing more, and I've seen my body change a lot since then.
It becomes addicting when you can see that progress, because the body composition can morph when you start lifting some weights.
Yeah. Yep. I did a side by side from March, when I was just doing like the HIIT workouts, October to March. And there was like an 8 pounds different in weight, but like everything was just so much tighter. And I was really excited about that. And now I'm at the point, so I passed the point of being afraid that I couldn't maintain it. Because I think everybody hits that point, because so many of us, we've lost weight before, and somehow we always gain it back. And so there's that fear of, okay, I lost the weight. What now? Mm-hmm. And the other amazing part of this is that there's no what now. You just keep going. Just keep eating your food and paying attention, So,
and like you said, you can't unlearn the things you know now. Nope. And that's like, to hear that from you is so like rewarding for us, because like we did it. That's everything about this is not what happens when you're with us. And that's unfortunately too many diet programs. Everything is about what you do when you pay them, and not about what you do 6 months down the road, a year down the road, 5 years down the road.
Yes. And that's so, I didn't want to do a 30-day challenge or a 90-day challenge. I signed up for 6 months in the beginning because I knew myself well enough that if it was 12 weeks, that would be way too easy just to count down to when it's over and then go back to, so I had to be long enough that I really had to make some lifestyle changes to keep up with it. And like I travel often, and I vacation a lot. And I say all the time, people ask the same questions, kind of like, how do you track on vacation, or what do you do, or how do you eat on vacation? And I'm like, well, there's work trips where I actually pay attention to what I eat, and then there's vacation where I don't. And then people are like,
right.
Wait, what? Because people see the results that I've had, and I think there's a lot of assumption that I must be very meticulous. I must be hitting my numbers every single day, because and I would have said the same thing. Like, there's no way she could look like that and take a week off or not go to the gym for 3 weeks or whatever it is, because in my mindset before, like, this was fleeting. This was something that you could maybe get to, but you couldn't keep. Or it would be very easy to lose. That is a lack mindset versus a growth mindset. And so once I got over that and I realized, like, I've been sick. I've had like arthritis issues in my hands where I haven't been able to do my workouts. And, I wake up in the morning and I look down and it's still there. I'm not ballooning overnight. I didn't gain all this weight back. And there's security in that because I'm doing the consistent things with my food.
You are living the life of a person that knows how to keep their weight off.
Yes.
That's the most important thing. Like, everyone has to stop dieting. You have to just change a little bit.
Yeah.
We say that a lot.
I see so many women specifically. I don't talk to a lot of the men who are doing the program, who aren't coaches, but I see so many women just coming in so scared and insecure and just wondering. I hear the question outside of our group, but in like the Peloton groups, for example, I'm over 40 and I've been working out and nothing's changing, and I just don't know if anything is going to work for me. Like, they've given up, and it's sad because that's how I felt for a long time too, and I can relate.
40
to that.
is not old, man. I'm almost 40. I'll be 40 in 3 years. It's. Yeah. I still feel like a dumb kid.
I think we just mentally never really age past 25.
That's true.
I don't think I picked that because I would never want to be younger than 25 at this point. But yeah, there's a lot of insecurity. There's a lot of fear. And then, they see, I feel like half my referrals are just posting a before and after picture. Just like, hey, this is what I did. Check it out. And that, but people will sign up not knowing what it is. And then, it's kind of a cold shower when you read the manual. You're like, wait, I have to do all the work? But you do. It's like, and so I really try to instill self-confidence. My life mantra for everything. So not just this, but in my business, in my family, in whatever it is, I try to demonstrate the possible. I try to find my passions, get good at them to a degree where I could help somebody else be better, improve their lives through them. But I want to demonstrate what it looks like to be successful in weight loss or at the gym or making just a big change. So when I choose how I share information, I think of my target audience is that person who's still reading the posts in the group, but maybe they haven't checked in with their coach in a couple weeks, or they feel crappy about their weekend because they made a bad choice and they're beating themselves up and they're internalizing, there's something wrong with me, or they might be saying the program's too hard or whatever. They're making excuses. They're not doing the thing.
They need, I think, to give themselves an honest chance. And I know that's hard because so many things have let them down. Mm-hmm. And it's easy to say, well, that diet wasn't for me. This diet wasn't for me. But maybe sometimes it's that you just have to tweak your mindset a little bit and accept that this stuff is hard, but it's absolutely worth it.
Yes.
Yeah. And an honest chance requires a leap of faith, It's like, it really does. And I think that's what is both so incredible and inspiring about the way that you have gone about this is that you did take that leap of faith in giving yourself an honest chance. And then more than that, you just continually repeated that on a daily basis. So it's, you mentioned it a couple of times, but it's almost like you hit a point where it's one day you wake up and then realize actually I never have to worry about going back to where I was because I am just no longer that person anymore.
Yeah.
I have so fundamentally changed this aspect of who I am now that I can't even imagine returning there.
Yeah. I live here now. That's what I say. I am a different person in how I make my choices and how I just fuel myself. Like I used to eat things, and not saying I've never done this on Stronger You, but I would eat things that I knew was going to make me feel bad. Or, like I knew that another cookie would give me a stomachache and I ate it anyhow. Or like I knew that dairy would, give me bad gas, but I would eat it anyhow, which nobody appreciated. But that's something that has been really empowering as well. And if anybody listening can relate to this, when I learned a lot about how I make choices and the foods that I felt like I was missing. So there's nothing I completely cut out, which is also super freeing. But there were things where I was like, I'm not going to open a bag of Doritos because the bag will be gone. Like I knew where I had self-control and I knew where I didn't. But like on vacation, I'd be like, well, I'm on vacation, so I'm free pass or whatever. And then I would eat whatever it was, and then I would feel horrible. Mm-hmm. And not because of the food was bad. It just, and not that it was good, but it just didn't agree with me. And my body was like, what are you doing? And I was like, okay, like even if I wanted to go back, I couldn't. My body would not accept it. Literally. My body has physically rejected a meal that had way too much oil and stuff in it. And I was like, okay, so like it's gotten used to the really excellent treatment, and it's not going to accept the garbage that I would even choose to feed it. But that was a learning experience too. And guess what? The next time I went on vacation, all like the free foods, or I used to say I have airplane food that I only eat on airplane, like Cheez-Its or something, because it's a limited amount of time or whatever. I don't know. Sounds weird when I say it out loud, but it totally made sense. But my airplane food has changed too, because I'm like, this doesn't even taste that good. Like sometimes you don't eat a food for a couple months or whatever, and then you eat it again and you're like, why did I like this so much? Why was I fantasizing about this food? It's just food, but we have so much emotion attached to it, or like positive memories. Like I still mourn that I don't actually like chicken wings as much as I thought I did. Like I
sad,
love
right?
them, but like, they're actually like not that awesome when you haven't had them in a long time. They are messy.
They're a pain in the butt to eat.
Things like that just become a part of your identity. They become a part of like the way that we view ourselves and like the story of who we think we are as a person in the world, right? And then it becomes this really unsettling and strange thing whenever we realize like, man, maybe the story I've been telling about myself is actually wrong.
Yeah. Oh, and with alcohol, that was a huge change for me. I have always had like a very high tolerance. So from the time where I really started like drinking in college, and it was never a problem. I wasn't drinking often, but when I did, I would drink a lot. And I kind of like I had a lot of guy friends in college. So like they thought it was super cool that I could drink as much as I did. And I look back and I was like, it really wasn't super cool, first of all. Mm-hmm. And now I don't regret things, but just like learning that about myself and navigating I didn't drink at all for like 6 or 7 months on the program. And then I kind of, had a few here and there, but, navigating situations without alcohol. So like parties or holidays, I learned so much about myself.
You can do it. That's a big fear for a lot of people, being in like social situations without a little alcohol.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have more patience with my kids. I'm less likely to say something that makes me want to put my foot in my mouth. It was just, it was very good to learn. And then I had to analyze, do I want to drink anymore? And it's not ever going to be like 100% one way or another, but I know I never want to drink like I used to drink, because there's no, like, I don't see any benefit to ever going back to a lot of how I used to behave. So
I think like the skill and ability to be able to like just to even objectively ask yourself something like that is like, that's a huge change. That's something that a lot of us don't ever actually reach. It feels like life takes on a totally different flavor whenever you start to learn like, oh, I do have the power to like ask myself that question and answer it honestly. It's like all of a sudden you feel like you're playing life on easy mode.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, like things just get much, much easier because they're just honest. I think anybody listening, whether they're in week 200 or they're thinking about joining in 5 weeks or whatever, like I think there's a lot of value that somebody could get from just hearing what your experience has been like. So, what I just love to know is if we have somebody listening right now that's thinking about joining Stronger You, what would you tell them? What would you say that they need to think about before they begin their journey?
So if you were anything like I was and you're thinking it's going to be a lot of work, this is too hard, I can't do this, I would encourage you to take a really clear look at what it would look like if you committed to something and saw it through. What would your life look like if you didn't give up on yourself for this journey that you want to accomplish? Because there's a reason that you want to make a change, or else you wouldn't be looking at this. And if it's important enough to you to invest the money, also make sure it's important enough to you to invest the time, because it is going to require daily activities, whether you feel like it or not. And you'll learn that once you make something into a habit, and once you make these changes in your life, you don't have to feel like it. The food's already prepped. You know how to track it. You know how to weigh it. You know how to check in with your coach. So it becomes a matter of, are you going to see it through, or are you going to, sign up and stop, which is what so many of us have done on different diets, different challenges. But I always want people to think about it. What would it look like if I really went for it? Mm-hmm. How would my life be different if I really, really went for it? Because people have said to me, well, I couldn't do what you did because of XYZ, which is the exact same thing I used to say about my friends who had lost weight or, were very athletic. I couldn't do that because I can't work out at 5 a.m. I can't weigh my food. Replace the word can't with I don't want to, or it's not important enough to me to make the changes, and see how that feels. If it's really, truly not important enough to you and you're okay with that, then keep doing your thing. But if when you say that out loud, my health, my body is not important enough to me to make these changes, and that feels icky to you, then reassess, because you can do anything that you put your mind to fundamentally, but you have to change that mindset and get strong in that mindset area. And I think I had that going in. And so I think that was a big reason that I, was successful off the bat. And then I saw how my success inspired other people, and that really kept me going too. So even on my lowest days, I would come to the group and, just sharing a story, or also sharing when it's hard, when you see somebody who you see as, you put on a pedestal of success, and then they share a story about how things are still hard for them and how they got through it. Because I never share a story. I never talk about things being hard unless I can share how I overcame it, because I feel like that's the value in the story. And so I go and share that, and people, just seeing people relate to my story, other moms, other just women, and guys too, but my niche is women, and seeing people say, oh my gosh, I'm brand new today, and just seeing that you could do it makes me feel like I could do it. And that's how I felt going in when I saw people being successful, and to be in that on the other side and living here, and not being somebody who just disappeared. And I always said too, I never want to look back at 2018 as the year I was skinny, or the year I lost the weight, and have that be a temporary thing. This last trip I was on was in Colombia, South America. And
you had abs. I saw abs. I was like, what? This is crazy.
That's my new benchmark. That cannot be the last time I had visible abs.
No.
So now I can't, I have a new benchmark. I can't, I know I'm not going to have visible abs forever. That's fine. I guess I could if I really, that was my...
Someone the other day, 67 years old, posted in her bikini and she had abs. I was like, what?
Yeah. I had never seen them before. They are never in my selfies, but apparently, they were there. They just needed the right light, and I don't know what happened. Something special about South America. But yeah, just seeing that, I blew my own mind with those photos, because I still, mentally, I'm all choking up. I do see myself in this body now, but there's still a lot of times where I see myself as a lot bigger, and it's been a journey. And, it's like I never identified as being really overweight. I still don't identify as being super fit, but I think I kind of land somewhere in between. But just seeing that, I did that. That was my work. And it didn't feel like work after a while because it's just how I live. That's the other thing. People say, oh, that must have been so hard. Like, it was at the beginning. Like, wasn't that, I don't want to say it wasn't hard, but it wasn't. Like, it was just, I made the changes and I stuck to them. And then it wasn't a battle every single day. It wasn't, I wasn't eating things that I didn't want to eat. I ate what I wanted. I worked out, made friends, and, created a community where everyone is there to kick butt and cheer each other on. And it's just this perfect storm for me. And I'm just really grateful for it.
Yeah, Morgan, thank you.
Seriously,
this is awesome. This story is amazing. You're so awesome. I'm so glad we got to meet when I was in Chicago. I can't thank you enough for being a part of this. It's incredible to hear your story. I think it's going to inspire a ton of people. I'm ready to sign up for Stronger You, and I own the damn thing.
Yeah.
But man, where can people find you on social media if they wanted to talk to you?
So my Instagram is at Morgan Crane Inc. INC. And that's going to be my platform of choice, I think. If you're in Stronger You, I'm in the Stronger You Facebook group as well.
Yeah, you're impossible to miss in the group. Morgan, I can't thank you enough for getting on here. And I mean it from the bottom of my heart whenever I say that, people like you and stories like this are truly what make this thing special. And we're just so grateful for the opportunity to not only get to work with people like you, but to actually get to have these conversations and hear these things. I truly mean it. And I want you to know it whenever I say that, this is the stuff that keeps us going. This is the stuff that gets us out of bed every day. It's truly a privilege for us.
Well,
yeah,
you guys,
we love getting to know you guys. It's so awesome because it's such an interesting industry where we work on the internet and we might not meet everyone, but I feel like I get to know you guys and it's just so damn cool. It gets me all choked up.
Just knowing that, honestly, back when I started, I was like, I'm going to make friends with Mike. This is going to happen. And I just did. And I know not everybody operates the same way as I do, but the fact that you guys were all so welcoming and seeing all the bro jokes and, I work with all women. And so it was actually really nice to have this masculine energy because it brings out a part of my personality that I didn't even realize I was missing. I like being around guys. I like the jocular atmosphere. And it's not too much. It's not off-putting at all, but it was just fun to have that back in my life. And I was like, yeah, my new Facebook friends are all dudes in their 20s and 30s. But
we have a blast.
It's fun. And it's just, everyone's so welcoming and nobody thought it was, I don't know, not that you think it was weird that I, became friends with people. And I was like, no, these people are my legit friends. It feels like a community. And it continues to feel like that. And people see it even now. And so I really don't think it was a part of just being in early and getting to know people. I don't think it's gotten too big. I don't think that anything about the customer service has changed. Everything is so attentive because they really do, you give a damn about all of us. I am
never going to step back. This is what I do. It's the community orchestrator at this point. I love it. I think it's something I wish more business owners did was show their faces and not hide behind the scenes all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it just feels different. And because it is different and it's an intangible, but when I share about the program, that's one of the big things that I shared is just the community. You have to experience it and you have to participate in it if you want to reap the benefits. So just being added to the Facebook group is not going to give you BFFs. You have to work it and, get to know each other, see who you gravitate towards, send them friend request. But I have this community now and I love it. It's a permanent part of my life. And that was another, when I think about that, I don't want this to be the year that I was skinny or, as far as going back, I'm it just wouldn't happen at this point. But another thing I thought about was what if I had to tell my coach that I, didn't keep it up. I don't know, the community part, not that anyone would be disappointed. You would support me and you'd help me.
Yeah.
But I'm this is my like, this is my crew that I run with now.
Yeah.
Like, I got to represent.
I have
like 18 shirts. Like,
thank you.
I do. I have so many shirts. This one you guys sent me, something was messed up in my order, or like my mug didn't ship or something like that. And when I got the mug, there was a shirt in my size that I didn't order.
Oh, surprise and delight.
I know.
Right?
So, take care of me. So,
Awesome.
But yeah, I appreciate you guys so much. And it's such a special community. And I feel really honored to be asked to be on this podcast. And I hadn't done a member spotlight yet. I think you sent me the link once and I was like going to get around to it.
I knew I sent it to you a while ago.
You did.
I was like, Tanner, where is it? Where'd it go?
Like,
you never turned it in.
Holding out for better, apparently. So,
well, you made the right choice.
Yeah.
But guys, thank you so much. Morgan, you're the best. This is awesome. Tanner, thank you so much for setting these up. Stronger You family, I think you're going to get a lot out of this one, and we're going to have a lot more to come. So thank you guys. We'll catch you on the next episode.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Stronger You Radio is a broadcast wellness production powered by StrongerYouFit.com. Content copyright Stronger You. Executive producer Frank Sardella. Thanks for listening to Stronger You Radio. For more information on the podcast, visit StrongerYouPodcast.com.